You're welcome back. If we move away from gas, how important is alternative power technology in our bid to find lasting solutions to the problems in the power sector? For example, what's Nigeria doing to develop a capacity for renewables?
Renewables hold the key to energy, sufficiency, and security for our country. We are vulnerable to vandals at this time because our gas infrastructure is very susceptible to attacks by vandals and things like that. It could be sabotage, because if it's pure gas pipeline, it's only sabotage. If it is associated gas with oil, it may be oil thieves going to do that. So one way is that diversification of the fuel mix. Gas gives us almost 80% now. It used to be between 70 and 80% of our electricity production. Hydro's 20 to 30%. Today is going to change. President Jonathan has insisted that we must develop coal to power, and we're working very hard. In fact, the very first coal power plant will be flagged off very soon by Mr. President. Zuma Energy has already gotten a license for 1,200 megawatts, has actually awarded EPC contracts for 300 megawatts for coal to power plant in Kogi. There are others that are coming on board, one in Enugu State, the other one in Benue, Bauchi, not Benue, but Bauchi Gombe axis, depending on where the owner of the license decides to site the plant. So coal is a veritable way of mitigating against all the sufferings we're encountering from vandals of the oil pipelines. Another one, and the most versatile, is solar. We have the capacity, not only in Nigeria, in Africa, the capacity to generate electricity for Africa rests on solar. Solar alone can give you 3 times the power that you could generate with all of your oil and fossil fuels, all of your wind, turbines, all of your hydropower, geothermal, biomass, coal. Add all of them together, solar alone can do 3 times that. But unfortunately, we're not doing that.
It was going to be my question. So why are we not focusing on this?
We are now doing that.
Since we realize how important
Since I came on board, licenses have now been issued for, solar power plants. Some of them huge, 1,000, some 50 megawatts, some 100 megawatts. But we have to start somewhere, because any little addition apart from gas reduces our vulnerability to vandals attacking our electricity infrastructure. So that's why we are really moving very hard in the direction of finding alternative sources of energy. And if you look at what I demonstrated, that through the Ministry of Power, we demonstrated that we could power whole communities, give them electricity, quality electricity, quantitative electricity, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they celebrated 1 year of uninterrupted power supply in Durumi, Shape, and Waru about 3 weeks ago. So these things are possible. We can do that. And that is why we are focusing more on alternative energy, especially renewables.
Tell me, what opportunities are there in the power sector now, and how is government encouraging investors to take these up? You just mentioned solar energy.
Well, I can tell you that I have not seen any other sector in Nigeria that foreign investors have shown so much interest as in power. The reasons are obvious. Power is not something that you go and pick up components from a shelf and come and install. You have to design. First you do feasibility studies, then you do your design, then you do your procurement, then you do your manufacturing, then you do importation into the country, you do installation, you do commissioning. 2 of those alone, beginning from procurement to manufacturing, can take anywhere from 18 to 36 months of most of the things you use in power. That's why I'm now pushing for embedded generation or distributed power as opposed to these big power plants. Distributed power is making small units, 20 megawatts, 30 megawatts, sell it to discos, sell it to industries, sell it to manufacturing outfits, sell it to business clusters, industrial clusters, farm clusters, and things like that. So we are moving in all these directions, but the critical thing is investors are falling over each other to come and invest in power in Nigeria.
You have been credited as having introduced the post-UME test to our university system when you were Vice Chancellor of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Looking back, would you say it was all worth it, especially in view of the criticisms that have trailed that decision?
You know,
I know several universities that have adopted it.
It's not several.
All.
When I did it, I was criticized. In fact, some people in the National Assembly asked for my head. But I had a problem. I've been in a university where students were butchered regularly by cultists. And I saw, when I went to University of Nigeria, Nsukka, they called it National War College number 2. 2 years before I got there, the chief security officer was assassinated by cultists. A year before I became Vice Chancellor, cultists assassinated the Dean of the Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences at UNN. When I got there, I declared zero tolerance for cultism. I waged a war. Then I saw something. Most of those who were cultists were people who were not prepared to get into university. So what happened? 5 years of my stay at UNN, not a single cult war. Look at all the Nigerian universities now. Do you hear of cultism?
No,
it was introducing of post-UTM. They used to call it Nebo jam in those days in the East, because I was the first. But my brother and friend, Professor Wanze of Unibed, immediately followed. And other universities followed. We were brought to defend ourselves before some people in National Assembly. JAM was there, Minister of Education. But I give Nora Obaji, the then Minister of Education, kudos, because she backed us up. I have no regrets whatsoever. I believe that one single thing that helped to clean up the university system was the post-UTME.
When will Nigeria have electricity?
We have electricity.
Enough electricity to do all the things that we want to.
Well, you know, President said 2 years. And for me, 2 years is not far-fetched at all. It is very realistic. Because not only are we going to be able to do a lot more, all these companies that have gone far in the power generation, the embedded generation, for the first time, you look at Lagos, Eco, Disco, even Enugu Disco, a few other discos are advertising for embedded power. That is what it should be. You don't wait for the large power plants. Do small power plants all over the place. Saturate the whole place. We are moving in that direction. So by the grace of God, I would say, I'll just be like what my Oga at the top has said, that within 2 years' time, we should be able to have very reasonable quantum of power supply to those who are already getting power, while we try to give to the rural areas that have not gotten power at all.
Professor Chinedu Nebo, we thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for bringing me aboard.
And we thank you for watching. Please join us again next time when View from the Top returns. But between now and then, let's continue this conversation online at channelstv.com. Do follow me on Twitter at ModeliSY, and let's share your thoughts on today's program and others that we have done in the past. Thank you again, and have a good day.